Hello friends, welcome back to another session with me. I am Sanyukta Saxena and we are down 2 tiles already, and this series on Zendala fever. Today we'll be working on this string, right? So I'll just zoom in a little. Yeah. So this is the string that we are going to be working today, and as I have been doing in all my previous sessions, I am going to quickly run through how to make the string. Yeah, so basically these are pre-strung tiles. You can always trace them, right? But I'll show you how to draw also if you want to. And if you, so I have this center marked, right? So this is the center. You can use your markers and find the center of this tile, right? The next thing is to add a circle. This is about, I don't know, 2.5 fingers. Basically the size of the flower, right? How big the flower you want, accordingly I'm just, for my reference, adding a dotted circle, right? And then what I'm going to do is draw these S shapes, slanting S like this, a big stomach. So how many petals do we have? We have about 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. So if you're not very comfortable where to, you want the petals to be equal in size, yeah, so there are 8 dips here, right? So this is first, right? I mean this 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and 8, right? So you can always take the reference of these points so that your petals look somewhat in symmetry of the same size, right? So again I'll take reference from these and then draw these S. The stomach is bigger than the top portion, fatty S's, yeah, like this. Give a nice curve. Like this, yeah. Yeah, so once we are done with those lines, you can see this straight down, straight down, straight down, straight down. So you make the flower, right? Then extend this right straight to the end of the tile. Right? And then it is coming down like this, like this, right? So don't bother too much about perfection of the string, that's okay, right? And then there is a small section created here like this. Right, so our string is ready. Hope you got it. I first found the center of the tile, then I drew a circle, right, just for reference. Then I marked 8 points on that circle, marked according to the dips of these triangles, right, because there are 8 dips, so I used them. And then I drew this S shape, then connected this just like we draw the tangle fangle, right? We connected those by a straight line, extended this line to the end of the tile, and then brought it down, right? So that is our string for today. So let's get started. I'm now going to remove this, right? And so let's start with a tangle called W2 today. So W2 is a tangle which is a simpler version in a way of the tangle Huggins. Yeah. So as far as the inside flat is concerned, I am going to place paradox inside because I think the shapes are good to go with the tangle paradox. Yeah. So you can watch me carefully. start from here and just give a small angle to the line as you finish. Again, start close to the line and give a small angle as you finish. Start close to the line and deviate as you finish. Right? Repeat the sequence. Stick to the sequence. Stick to the width or distance between the lines. Try to maintain a similar distance if not equal. Yeah, so that's the tangle paradox. Again, moving on to the next. Again, start from here. Again, deviate a little. Totally line based. You can turn your tile if you are not comfortable drawing all the lines, keeping the tile constant. Right, so beautiful fan shape that forms when you follow a sequence. You can follow the sequence clockwise or anti-clockwise, that's entirely up to you, right? So I'm going like this, I can also go like this, right? So from the other side, so both are fine. Again, same. Yeah, so I'll do exactly the same for all the petals. Paradox as such looks a very geometric tangle, totally line based. However, it depends totally on what kind of a shape you are putting it in, and you can see how organic it starts to look, right? So I love organic tangles actually, so I can practically give an organic look to any tangle. So it's just about the string and how you use it. So just take your time. It's a true meditation, the sequence of lines that you follow, right? So I am going to go on like this. So I am now on the last petal shape, following the same sequence. You can try alternating the sequence clockwise and anti-clockwise and see what kind of flower does it form. Yeah, so that's one experiment that is always usually done with paradox, because it has the capability to form meta patterns as you change the direction of the lines. Yeah, so these are all clockwise and you can see how beautiful the flower looks like. Moving on to the next section, I'm just going to insert a simple tangle called, probably I'll just take a line for reference. Yeah, and insert a pattern called W2. Right, so W2 is a pattern which starts with this square grid, and then you draw these square shapes or boxes inside the grid. So I am overlooking the grid here because the distance between the boxes has to be almost same. Yeah, and then you have to alternate and mirror, right? So if you are doing connecting these two like this, so it has to be a mirror image. again outside, again inside, again outside, and these, as I go vertically, it has to be alternating. Yeah, so take your time and slowly do that exercise. And now it is connecting. This will be mirror image, inside, again mirror image, again. Yeah, so that's the tangle W2. So I'm going to, I think, alternate this tangle, right, and choose one more tangle called wells in between, right. So give a nice curl, going to give a nice curl. This is the standard wells grid, right, nice swirl, right. Again here it is up to you whether you want to move in the same direction or you want to move in the opposite direction, right. So I am moving in the opposite direction, right. So again make the petals 1, 2, 3 and 4. Give a nice curve and 4, right. Again draw a line from here to the end to give the impression of a fold there. Yeah, again from here, right. Now the rest of the spaces, it is up to you whether you want to ink it or you want to leave it as such, right. So I think it will be a good idea to ink it, or you can add these really close lines on two sides and ink the rest too. Yeah, so let's see. I am now just adding these lines and we'll see if we want to ink it, or I think I will ink a section like this and not the whole thing. Yeah, so things keep coming to mind as you draw, so you improvise, you change. Yeah, I think I'll go with that, right. Again the same thing here also, draw a few lines and then ink it, draw a few lines and then ink it, draw a few lines and then ink it. Right, so I'm going to be alternating these two things. Again I'm going to go with W2. Yeah, square boxes, inside a square grid. You can always draw a grid for your reference, then start to connect. Up, down, up, down. This is a mirror image, right. And when we move like this, it will be alternate. Yeah, yeah, I think it's done. So moving on to the next, I'll show you one more section of wells. divide it into two, add an orb, add the four lines, the curved lines. Always retrace a portion of the orb, it will give you that much required curve that you need, right? So go from here and then land there. It's also called as the takeoff and landing thing in Zentangle. We use this technique pretty often, right? So when you take off, you get that curve easily. Yeah, and then this one I'll draw anti-clockwise. So take off and land, take off and land, take off and land. Yeah, then the petals, 3 and 4, and then the lines, the folds, right? And then again the same exercise, add some lines and ink some portion, add some lines, ink the rest. Keep moving your tile, don't move your hands much. Once it is in its comfort position, move the tile. And the last one. Yeah, right? So I'll just continue like this. So this small little portion that is left here, it is entirely up to you. What do you want to do here? So you can add some lines, crisscross, whatever you wish to. Probably I'll just add a portion of the pattern. Nice. Yeah, something like this. So you can either ink the below and leave the top like that, or you can ink the alternate section as we do in the tangle nice, whatever you want to do. Yeah, even this way it will look nice. Yeah, so I'm not inking that portion, right? So I'll show you once more. Lines, 2 line, 3 line, 1 line, 2 line, then an inverted V shape, join this tip to the center as we do in the tangle nice, and then just ink this portion. Yeah, so I'm just going to continue like this. So almost finishing with my tangling here, just filling in the last space here, inking in the space left below my nice, a portion of the nice, right? So I have done the same exercise for all the sections. So let us now move on to shading. So shading the W2, wherever the lines are going under, lines are going over, add some pencil and then carefully blend it. Yeah, so I'll just show one. Don't blend too much. So has a nice weaved woven feel. It's like some weaving. Yeah, you can see it almost looks like overlaps now. So just add graphite slowly to all these sections where lines are going under or over. Yeah, again blend. Spaces are small, so take it easy. Don't blend so much that the entire thing goes gray. You should have a highlight in the center. Yeah, so as far as the wells is concerned, add some graphite here to highlight the flower. Right, again make sure you don't make it gray completely, so just blend on one side. Right, so they will look like fold if you darken this space. Yeah, again the same thing here. Small spaces, so take your time and slowly with care move your turtle on. Don't blend too much. Yeah, so that's how I'm going to shade all of them. Yeah, yeah, so I'm just going to continue the same as far as my Huggins and W2 is concerned, and then we'll come to paradox in the center. Yeah, yeah, we have forgotten to ink here. Yeah, so one more wells. Again Take it to one side. Don't cover the entire petal. Spaces are small, so you have to be careful. Yeah. So I'll just finish this. So I have done my blending. Now I am going to highlight my paradox. Right. So I am highlighting this space because I want to highlight the flower. Right. So this should look distinct from the rest of the tangling. So I'm highlighting this space. Right, so you can choose to highlight the paradox you want, the way you want. There are so many ways to shade it. Each of the places where lines are intersecting, you can go ahead and add some shade. So I'm just highlighting this section so that my flower stands out. Yeah, so a little touch here. Yeah, and if you want, you can add a little here. So shading makes a lot of difference. Where do you want to highlight? What do you want to highlight? Decide your shading on that. Right, so that's about it. If you want, you can highlight the center a little bit. Yeah, so now it is up to us. You can very well leave the outside white the way it is, or you can convert it to totally black. Right, both way it will look nice. I'll see how to do that, whether we want to do that or not. Small little highlights on the paradox where there is no graphite. Yeah, so now I'm going to use my bolder pen, probably a black brush pen, and quickly ink the outside space. So I have my black brush pen with me, right? You can very well use your O8 and do that exercise. Absolutely fine. Right? So I'm using my black watercolor brush pen, and I am simply going to turn the rest of my tile black. Again, it's very much your own choice whether you want to do that or not. You can very well leave it here. I think adding the background black will give a lift to my tile, since there are spaces outside the string. So I am going to add black. Yeah, so use your O8 or brush pen, whatever is handy, and just turn the rest of the tile black. Yeah, so I'm done with my inking, and we can close the tile here, unless you know I am a dot fan, so I'm not going to close the tile unless I put in some small dots. And my jelly roll doesn't seem to be working. So yeah, some small dots. So this is entirely optional. If you want to do it, please go ahead. Otherwise, just leave the tile there and you are sorted. Yeah, puffs, a very common tangle enhancing technique. So I'm going to initial my tile now and give it 2 minutes for the jelly roll to dry up. Sign and date it. Right, so today is the third session and this is our third Zendala special. I'll see you again with another new string. Till then, have a good time. Bye bye.